So it's Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by my good friend and promoter, of course, of Oleksandr Usyk, Alex Krassyuk. Alex, how are you?
Could be better, felt better, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I saw TalkSport advertised a showdown between yourself and Frank Warren. And I watched the video and was very disappointed that you weren't actually on the program at the same time. So I think a little bit misleading there, but they did have a very short statement from you. Fury Usyk, Frank Warren says he still wants it to happen. He's not giving up. From your perspective and that of Team Usyk, is there any hope for April 29th?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't really think so. I tell you why. We did everything possible. So we took all the possible efforts. First time the fight was off when I was in London. So we had the meeting with George Warren and we were discussing the mandatory already. Once in a sudden, we hear the appearance of Tyson Fury a couple hours before the deadline, stating that 70-30, you worth 30, blah, blah. Usyk plays the game, he accepts, he calls his bluff, accepts it, and then the ball starts to roll. So Tyson has to make all the arrangements to start the training camp. It was complicated, and we had to work on make all the paperwork, which was really complicated. It wouldn't be right to go deep into the details because of the ethics of business ethics, and it might be possible only if Frank agrees that we disclose and we discuss publicly. But I will not do it just by myself, though there are some interesting points. And by the way, there is actually no one to blame because Frank himself did as much as he could. So he tried hard. And he's still trying. He's very optimistic. He took every single effort to convince us, to convince Tyson, this event takes place on the 29th. But he's limited with the fighter's decision because we promoters are just serving to our clients who are the final decision makers. That's why he was limited as well.
And Frank Warren said on Sunday, things seemed to be very close. Everything had been reduced down to just one key issue. And I know, obviously, we spoke briefly over the weekend. You seem quite optimistic also. So what changed between then and now?
So we did have a very, very fruitful and productive conversation on Sunday. We went through most of the issues. We had to compromise. So we agreed because we compromised again. Some of them are not that important. Some of them are important, but we acted in good faith, so it goes in a proper direction. But at some point, when I was talking to Usyk, he asked me a very decent question. Alex, we went through many good and bad things. We've been together since 2013, since his first fight in pros. And we did go through everything. Nightmares, some happy moments, some extremely happy moments, but we went through everything. And throughout our way, we were really flexible. And we went towards the fight. So we were always reasonable and tried to make it in good faith, as you know, as the will to satisfy the boxing fans.
Sure.
So at this time, he asked me, how many more times I have to bow my head in front of the opponent? I am the unified heavyweight champion. I am the undisputed cruiserweight champion. Okay, so I can go and bow my head till the end of my life. No way. I did act in a courtesy of boxing, of global boxing, when I accepted it 70-30. But I accepted it with a condition, certain condition. And I went live on internet, not live, but posted on Instagram, that Tyson Fury, no, Greedy Valley, I accept your offer 70-30, but you have to donate £1 million to Ukraine, to people of Ukraine immediately after the fight. And Tyson Fury seemed to hear only first part of this message. I didn't like or didn't want or just didn't hear it at all the second.
Sure.
So this also was a clause. So there was a bunch of issues that collectively put the critical mass, which finally exploded. So we had to pull the plug off.
From Frank Warren's point of view, and he said this publicly, both on TalkSport and I think also on IFL, he feels it came down to one issue ultimately, which is the purse split for the rematch. Now, I've discussed this with other people this morning, and if what Frank says is true, and it was designed to be 50-50 for the rematch if Usyk wins, I think, just from a neutral perspective, that's unreasonable. I think Frank said that it should be the same as Usyk accepted for a rematch with Joshua, but in that fight, Usyk was coming in as the challenger. In this case, he's coming in as the champion with more belts than Fury also. Was that the kind of final straw?
Well, it was not the case itself. It was the point where it all exploded. Everyone's like trying to convince that Usyk would have his payday fighting Tyson Fury. But it's not true. It's not true. The money Usyk is supposed to make in this fight, probably 3 times smaller than he made in his last fight. So it's not the payday for Usyk 100%, and it's not even close to it. So he accepted it as the man of boxing because he wanted to be the part of the undisputed heavyweight undisputed fight. He wanted to deliver this to the whole world, and especially to his homeland, to the country of Ukraine, where he is one of the biggest inspirations from sports. So, from my perspective, that was not the single clause. It was a list of things that we had to compromise, and at the end, you feel like, as I mentioned at TalkSport, it seemed like Tyson Fury, after Usyk accepted 70-30, Tyson Fury felt that he can put a saddle on his neck and start riding Usyk. No, it won't happen. It won't happen. And from Tyson's perspective, I wouldn't blame him. No, it's his decision. He is the champion. He is the personality. It's his attitude, how he treats people, how he treats business. I'm not blaming him. In one of his recent Instagram appearances, he mentioned that he didn't attend the school even one day, so he probably didn't have a chance to learn that greediness leads to poverty. Of course, I would never wish that to him, but it's a matter of fact, and wise people know this is true. From our perspective, undisputed heavyweight championship fight remains our highest priority. We will comply with our obligations in front of the mandatories, and we will work hard to make it happen. Whoever is the temporary owner, the temporary holder of the WBC belt that's pending in Usyk's collection, it's not like an issue. The issue is the belt. The unfortunate thing is that Tyson Fury, at this moment, holds it. So he's so complicated to deal with. He's a complex personality, blah, 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 whatever. it is a matter of fact. But Usyk intended to fight Tyson not because he's Tyson or because it's a payday or anything like that. His only reason for fighting Fury was because Fury has the WBC belt, the fourth belt that is pending in Usyk's collection.
And Frank Warren, another thing he said today is that from his view, and he said this to Tyson, let's just have no rematch. But then I'm assuming that would cause a renegotiation for the split for the one fight, if that was true.
When we were discussing the deal, we approached with an offer. And by the way, I think Frank Warren mentioned it earlier, probably in December, January. He said that it's an easy fight to make. It's a 50-50 deal. Both guys are the champions. So no disrespect to anyone, 50-50 and we go. And that was our belief. That's what we truly believe. And when we started our negotiations, I approached with the formula that we get 50-50 for the first fight, and we have 50-50 for the rematch, which leaves the incentive. We know Tyson doesn't like the rematches. He skipped one with Klitschko. He tried to avoid one with Wilder. So he has it in his portfolio. So in order to leave incentive for Tyson not to get back to bad things he used to do after Klitschko fight, so he stays on the surface, we were ready to make it like 50-50 both. So whoever wins, it's not about money. Whoever wins, we don't have to like, it's only about sports, only about boxing.
So now, if they came back and said, okay, no rematch at all, but a different split for the first fight, is that something you could talk about or too late now?
At this moment, it's too late. But no rematch may happen only at 50-50 split. That was actually the rematch clause was like brought to the table by Tyson. But we confirmed, yes, it's true. It's good. It's good to have the rematch because we are fighting in England, home of the champion. Anything may happen. The judges, officials, whatever. Then, let's say, injuries can occur. Both sides can be injured, can get injured. Okay, it's a risky thing. Both guys would love to have the second chance. Okay, let's put it in the contract. We agreed for that. That was a part of that we agreed. We couldn't get the approval from Tyson's side. He didn't accept 50-50 because he's so big in the US. He's delivering all the monies from throughout the world. He's blah 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 blah. Okay, but either you take it or leave it. Then he comes up, says 70-30, no problem. 70-30, Usyk accepts. So what else should Usyk do?
Yeah, I understand. I mean, was there ever a conversation about the rematch split changing depending on who won the first fight? So say the rematch is 60-40 to the winner of the first fight.
Usyk's understanding was that if he accepts 70-30, then the rematch is 70-30 in favor of the winner.
Right. And Tyson didn't like that option.
No, 50-50, 80-20.
Right, okay. What happens now for Usyk? You talked about the mandatory obligations. Daniel Dubois is apparently first up in the rotation. That means what, more negotiations with Queensberry?
Yeah, but we have no problems negotiating with Queensberry, with George, with Frank. We are friends. We are absolutely okay. We understand each other. It's a different fighter. So I don't think we're going to face any troubles. At the end of the day, if we are facing anything, there is a procedure of purse bid.
Yes, of course.
It's easy.
What do you think, if this fight with Fury is going to happen at any point, When's the earliest now it could happen? Like, how long will the mandatory obligations keep Usyk busy for?
Who knows? Maybe it can happen at the end of the year. We never know. Or maybe never. But we hope.
Maybe at the end of the year, the Middle East comes back in, potentially, and there's more money
Would be
in the
good.
pot.
Would be great. Then they would have to negotiate with Tyson separately.
So you'd say good luck to them, perhaps?
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Alex, I know you're super busy with everything going on, but really appreciate your time as always. And yeah, let's catch up again once we know, or once you know, what's next for Usyk.
Absolutely.